Final speaker for this morning. If you thought you had a CV, forget. Let me read you a proper CV. Our final speaker for today, Mr. Andile Sangqu. He was appointed the executive head for Anglo-American in South Africa in June of 2015. He serves as the executive director of Anglo-American. He's currently also a director of Business Leadership SA. He's a deputy chairman of NEPAD Business Foundation. He's a non-executive director of Tongaat Hewlett, and he's also the vice president of Minerals Council of South Africa. Also, fun fact, he's an accredited lay preacher of the Methodist Church. So to that side of the audience that's been and eyeing and hands up, you're about to get a speech and a preach and some church this morning. And really, this man is the definition of black excellence. So please help me in welcoming our keynote speaker for today, Mr. Andile Sangqu.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How are you? Good, thank you. It is really an honor and a privilege to be invited here to come and talk to you. I must say that I am feeling a bit intimidated by the speakers that were before me. They really spoke very well, stuff that really touched me, stuff that really motivated me. And I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I did. The second thing I want to say as well is that just to pay tribute and a moment of silence for Kolani Kwala, whom I know and I've seen many times in this place. And it's really sad to hear of his passing. Just to express sincere condolences to his family and to his friends and to the rest of the country. It's really a sad occasion and a moment indeed. Just thinking about what I wanted to talk about today, I was a bit confused because there is just so much to share in terms of what I've been through. And I wasn't sure whether to rattle through the story of my life or just to reflect on some of the things that have happened. But do that in a manner in which it also can give you something to take away. But at the same time, running away from coming across as if I'm lecturing you. So it has just really been that balance. So can I just ask you just to be patient with me, just allow me just to walk through my story. So I was born in a family of 4 children, 3 boys and 1 girl. I was born in Klerksdorp. I was the second born by birth by my mother, who was a nurse, and my father, who worked in the mines. He worked there for over 30 years. I started my primary school in Nozizwe Primary in Kuma location, Stilfontein in Klerksdorp. And then at the age of 7, I moved to live in the rural areas of the Eastern Cape in a town called Edujwa. I grew up there, and one of the things that I remember when I grew up was that we share a classroom with another grade. So in one corner of the classroom, there will be what we call grade 3, and then in another corner, there will be a grade 4. So we'll have different teachers. So you can imagine the commotion in the class, trying to hear each other. But that's really how we grew up, And one of the things that I want to to share about my upbringing and how I grew up was this whole thing about ordinariness. There was just nothing special about it. And we made cars with wires like all kids at the time did. We played with mud in the rain. You know, we went to swim in the dams, you know, in rivers, in dirty waters. And we walked to town on foot, you know, which was about 7 or 8 kilometers one way. And I wasn't particularly good at sports or athletics. I tried. You know, I was brought up in a religious family, and every evening, without fail, you know, we will have to stand behind a closed door and do our prayers. You know, went to church every Sunday, went to Sunday school, and did home chores, you know, washing dishes, cleaning the house, painting, you know, and most times we could not afford a helper. So we, though most of us were boys at home, we had to jump in. You know, like before going to school, we had to make food for ourselves, you know, and me and my late brother would prepare supper for my mom every night and also do the home chores like washing dishes and all of that. And I'm saying this with you just to say to you once again that ordinary as my life was, there was always a dream. There was always this burning desire to break through. Even though my circumstances were ordinary, I always had this belief that it is not going to end that way. I did not know how or when. I just believed it. And each time I was thinking about it, I just got excited. I was average even in terms of my grades, but somehow I knew and believed that I would surprise everyone. This is what I believed, and it is this belief that was just so strong and motivated me every time I was thinking about it. I would also write down my dreams on a piece of paper and start thinking and visualizing it. I did not know exactly in what manner or in what way it would come to pass. I just had faith. There were people in my class who were much more cleverer than me. I would work hard, but I just could not beat them. I was never deterred, but I just had this faith that I would be what I wanted to become. Whatever that was available at home to read, or at school, or even in the library, I would just read and read and read. Like everybody else, I had failures, I had setbacks, I had disappointments. And these things humbled me. There were moments for me to reflect, to take stock, to self-correct, and to do things differently. I still have this passion, even today, to read, to write, to learn, and to listen. I listened a lot today. I learned a lot today. And in the process, I found out more about myself, what I like, what I don't like, what I'm excited about, what my interests are, and what my dislikes are. I also had role models, people I looked up to. I think of Professor Wiseman Kutlu. I did not know him at the time. I had not met him then. I read a lot about him. Now, one of the things that inspired me about his story is how he grew up and how his own personal circumstances and surroundings were not different from mine. He gave me this inspiration that I needed to start to believe with more conviction that anything was possible. My father and my mother believed in me and encouraged me, motivated me, and took time and made all the efforts to celebrate with me and the family, whatever the successes were. So along the way, we were blessed with small successes, but we took time as a family to pause, reflect on those small successes, and celebrated them. I read extensively about people who did things that were different for the first time, that have never been done before. I read about the Brazilian soccer player, Pelé, who in 1958, at the age of 17, he scored against Sweden, and Brazil won the World Cup. I read about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who was a minister and an activist. He obtained his PhD at the age of 26, and at the age of 35, he became a Nobel Peace Prize winner. These are the people that inspired me. It all starts with us creating and writing about the vision of what it is that we want to become. When you write it, you write it into existence. When you speak it into existence. Vision alone is not enough. It has to be accompanied by hard work. It has to be accompanied by resilience, audacity, courage, and this refusal to let go. It is important to have discipline and to have rituals and routine and work out a formula that works for you. You have your own formula. Stick to that formula and stick to it religiously 365 days a year. I heard a lot today, and I want to echo this, that you must challenge the status quo. You must have this spirit inside you that refuse to be defined or confined by everything that is happening around you. Strong spiritual power is a very important foundation and grounding. It is an absolute necessity. You can only do so much on your own, relying on your own strength. You've got to be obsessed with success and always aiming for excellence and perfection. Be obsessed about studying other leaders. Learn from them. See this as a continuous journey of self-improvement and advancement for yourself. Have those daily messages that motivate you, or a mantra that you repeat continuously. Have a mentor or a person that is like, if you watch boxing, there's always someone in your corner. That person in your corner is watching the game. He looks at your own strengths. He looks at your own weaknesses. He looks at the opportunities that you are missing out. He looked at the weaknesses of your opponent so that you can be able to capitalize that. All of us need someone in our own corner. You need your own boxer corner man. You must intentionally identify those people that can complement you, those people that can nurture the talent that exists within you. Where you were born, or where you were raised, or how you were brought up, does not determine or define where you will end up. Just have a deep sense of confidence and belief that it is possible and it is doable. Thank you very much.
Choose to make a positive impact. LeadSA.